Hey now, my name is Nick from Board Game Brawl, and this is Diary of a Kickstarter Addict. And do note that I said Kickstarter there, not Indiegogo. We are never going to cover that in this segment. For those of you who are not familiar with the differences between the two, if Kickstarter was Transformers, Indiegogo is the GoBots. The topic for this week's Blender is party games, although I specifically want to talk about party games being used for their intended use, which is at parties, something that I am intimately familiar with because I go to parties like every week. Boy howdy, do I ever. Now, generally speaking, trying to play a party game at a party is not always a great idea. And I know, I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but at a dedicated party that is not just your board gaming group that happens to have alcohol that night, it is really, really difficult to get people to focus enough to play a game. You know, you start off with good intentions. You want to create an immersive experience there at the table, but it could easily end up blowing up in your face. Kind of like having slave trading in your Euro game. Seemed like a great idea at the time, but I guess that's a topic for another show. Okay, calm down. It's not as bad as all that. I'm just exaggerating for fun, but you do need to be prepared for this, I think. It could be a very worthwhile experience. You get to see how all these different people that you invited to the party react to the idea of you bringing out a game. You have the close friends who really don't want to play a game at this party, but they want you to be happy, so they go along with it and try to put on a smile. You have the guy who's just way too invested in making sure that those games get played and sulks if no one joins him at the table. And those two weird teenagers that you don't even know who are only at your place because they were sure that Daft Punk is playing at your house. Your house. Do, 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 do. Ba-wow, wow. Now, since I'm contractually obligated to the Dice Tower to link this discussion back to Kickstarter in some way, shape, or form, let's talk about some crowdfunded games that might be perfect for your party-going experience. Now, One Night Ultimate Werewolf from Bezier Games is certainly an option here, but you do need to be careful because with all the table thumping that goes on in that game, especially with a large group of people, it's possible that you're going to knock over everyone's drinks right to the floor, which is going to ruin your carpet. But the good news here is that in the ensuing chaos, everyone gets to stop playing One Night Ultimate Werewolf. Shut Up and Sit Down's favorite game, Cards Against Humanity, is a no-brainer if you're okay with an R-rated game at your party. It's the #1 game on Amazon, and it does so well for itself now that it's easy to forget that it started off as a lowly Kickstarter project. And of course, there's so many other Kickstarter projects now that imitate it and try to replicate its success. Although, actually, ironically, the biggest imitator and replicator that Cards Against Humanity has went straight to store shelves. Can you believe how much of a ripoff Apples to Apples is? Can you say lawsuit? The point is, in order to make sure that you have a successful party game night, you have a lot of options out there. You just need to do your research. And whatever path you decide to go down, just remember, Daft Punk is playing at my house, my house. Do, 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 do. A bow wow. My name is Nick from Board Game Brawl. You can check me out at youtube.com/BoardGameBrawl. This has been Diary of a Kickstarter Addict, and I'll see you at breakfast on Monday.